We got us a warm one in the shop today. Last I checked, it was just about 80 degrees in here, so we're going to try to bang this out as quick as possible. Got a couple fistfuls of cedar offcuts from different projects that I didn't use up, and I got one full width piece of a picket that I think wanted to be a twisted canoe instead of a fence picket, but no matter. We're going to go ahead and try to burn as much of this up as we can. Let me bring you down to the bench and we'll get started marking some cut lines. I don't have much of a rhyme or reason here, just kind of have an idea bouncing around in my head. So, and being that this board is really far from flat, on the cup side you can almost make it pretend to be flat, but no matter, we're going to see what we can do with this. So we're going to start this one at 11 inches and we'll come down, let's say an inch and a half. Make a little mark over here so we know where our inch and a half mark is. Now 11 inches long. I want the bottom to be, let's say, right at 3 inches wide. So 5.5 will be our center point, and we'll go an inch and a half each direction from our center point. So we'll make a mark at 4 and 7 inches. That'll give us our bottom. Now I'm just gonna connect where we dropped an inch and a half to the edge of our 3-inch mark. That's gonna give us a shape like this. So we'll need one more of these. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark out one more of these so we got a matching set. Ran these over to the bandsaw and just knocked them out quick. So we have two matching pieces, except for the fact that each one has its own different special kind of warp and twist and dysfunction. So this is probably gonna go pretty good along with my household. So we got our two ends. Now I'm gonna take this 1.5-inch piece and let's figure out how long we want to make this. I'm thinking 17 inches should be good. And this piece is 41, so that shouldn't be a problem at all. So I'll go ahead and mark out two 17-inch pieces on this piece to cut, and that'll do for our top sides. Got our two pieces at 17 inches. We'll just kind of mock this together here quick. And I'm gonna try to keep the cup on the outside of these two pieces, although this one's got more of a warble than a cup, but that'll be okay. I'm gonna go ahead and get the pin nailer and we'll get this glued up. All right, just gonna throw some clamps on here to try to keep this thing honest, even though it is pin nailed. And this I'm not even going to bother to check for square, because as lopsided as these end pieces are, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. So I think I'm going to go get myself a cool drink and give this about 30 minutes or so to tack up and get set. So we've given this a little bit of time to dry. I'm going to leave it in the clamp for now. I had another piece that was about 7/8 of an inch, give or take. It was kind of a crooked rip, which is why I think I never ended up using it. But I cut out 3 pieces, so I think what I'll do here is I'll just do kind of like I did on the campfire caddy. I'll go end, end, and then fit the middle and just kind of eyeball the spacing. Now we'll just kind of eyeball this one to make it look presentable. Being that this is the very bottom, I don't want too big a spacing in between these. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this out of the clamps, and we'll get started on our angled sides here. Gave this a little bit of time to dry and started digging through the pile. I have some 9/16 pieces, which these are actually 9/16 thick right here, so I think square 9/16 inch pieces would look good here. The only issue is we come down here to the bottom, we're at 17 inches. We come up here, or actually that's the top, this would be the bottom, but we are at about 16 3/4 inches. So I'm gonna have to actually measure and cut every single one of these. So I think I will go ahead and get that hammered out, and I'm gonna do just like I did on here. I'm gonna go here, here, and just kind of fill in the gaps until I get kind of a good idea of how many I'm gonna need. That way I can knock out the second side a lot quicker. So I'll go ahead and get to doing my mathing, and I'll be right back to start pin nailing these in. Got this all figured out, got them actually in line, and I'm gonna need about 5 pieces, and I just spaced it with another little offcut picket piece that I had. So now, being that this is a basket, I'm gonna want to start on the bottom instead of up towards the top, and then that way the smaller things that end up in the bottom of the basket will be less likely to fall out, and then I can just have a larger gap up here. So overall, most things aren't going to be falling out. So let's go ahead and get to assembling this part. Got this side all glued up and pin nailed now, so it doesn't look half bad at all. Now I'm gonna go ahead and measure and cut 5 more pieces for this side, and we'll get this side all done up. We've taken that couple fistfuls of scraps and got it down to a couple real small manageable pieces, and this is all we got left of that full width piece. But now we have the main part of the basket done. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And it's about 85 degrees in this shop, so I think I'm going to take a break and work on a handle idea. I kind of skipped over what I'm going to do for a handle. So I think while I'm taking a break, enjoying a nice cold drink, I'll go ahead and figure out exactly what I'm going to do for a handle for this. Don't want it overly complicated. I am running out of some scrap pieces to use, but I should be able to figure out something. Well, that quick little break turned into a couple days. My body got in that AC and said, nope, not coming back out in the shop when it's that hot. Luckily, it did start to rain though, so I was able to sneak back out in the shop a little later on that evening. And the following evening, I did some sanding on these corners just to soften the look and the feel of the basket up. I was able to get a finish on it. I did a butcher block type finish with the resin in it, so it will actually harden a little bit, which will allow me to rinse the vegetables after I pick them before I bring them into the house. And I went with a really simple handle idea. Just another piece of scrap from the Picket and some paracord. And this fits the hand well, has a good clearance, and you can still put it in the crook of your elbow, so you can snip vegetables with this hand and hold them with this hand and put them in the basket. So that's going to wrap it up this time. Thanks for coming along with me on this build, and thanks for watching.